Hi, I'm Alexandro Medina. I live in Queen Creek, Arizona, and have been here in the United States for 18 years. Now, I am pursuing a degree in architecture at the Arizona State University. My story begins several years ago, when I took a great newfound interest in art and design. So much so that I would quite often draw into the night, and before I knew it, dawn would arrive and I'd realize that I accidentally pulled an all-nighter. What sets me apart from others, though, is that I have already begun my career as an architect by shadowing my father at his workplace. By learning the techniques he uses for his architectural drawings and applying them to my own, I became his apprentice, and quite possibly in the near future, I will work beside him. The reason for all this effort is because I am quite inspired by my father. When I first witnessed the passion he put into his work many years ago, I discovered that I held that same passion, and I wished to become an architect just like him. When he learned of my interest in his career, he told me his story, which, to this day, motivates me to never give up. His story goes as this. At the age of 12, he, along with his mother and 5 siblings, escaped from their abusive father with nothing more than their clothes on their backs. Forced to begin a new life on the streets with little education, they would look for whatever work they could find. My father, being the oldest amongst his brothers, would travel for miles, sometimes not returning to his family for days on end. He'd eventually travel so far that going back to his family was not an option until he got an earning. But, be it luck, or something else, he managed to find himself at a drafting school. There, he worked for 4 years under several architects and became a draftsman. Eventually, he was able to return to his high school to finish his education at the age of 18. A year later, he graduated and turned his focus towards college, applying for many scholarships. However, almost all of the scholarships that he applied for stated that he would have had to have applied for them years prior. Fortunately, he was able to cut a deal with one corporation to give him a scholarship. If his institution granted him 15% off his tuition, the corporation would reward him 75%, and he would pay the last 10% of his costs. The stipulation was, he'd have to also earn a grade no less than 95% across all of his classes or a scholarship would be revoked. So he did. He'd managed to graduate amongst the highest in his class with a summa cum laude distinction. And it's his story that reminds me every day of how lucky I am to be in my position, and I use it to motivate myself to get up and get to work. That is why I'm inspired to go to college and earn my degree in architecture. I have made it my commitment to overcome any obstacle I encounter on this journey of mine. Because if my father could earn his degree while living on the streets on his own, I can most certainly go further than he ever could with him by my side by building upon the path he paved. My name is Alexandro Medina, and I will become an architect.